Good afternoon. Welcome to the Insurance Pilot. We're back on the air. The Insurance Pilot is where we make you an expert insurance consumer in about 5 minutes a week. And we've been off the air for quite some time. We kind of let everybody take a little break. I know that everybody's a little bit tired of insurance, but it's been more than a year since the storm now, and we all still have insurance needs. And people have questions, and it's time to get back at it. Today, I want to talk about the dangers of using something like a name your own price sort of scenario. There's a major insurer out there that has put a lot of marketing muscle behind the name your own price tool, I believe it's called. And it's not exclusive to them, but there's a lot of variations on this theme. Usually what happens is you get onto some sort of online platform and you get this menu that may or may not be easy to understand, and they usually have sliders or little selectors, and what you can do is you can move the slider left or right to add or reduce coverage in a particular area. And the problem with this is, while it's very helpful to getting to a number, if let's say you save 50% on your insurance this year over what you've been paying last year, if it's not the insurance you need, you might as well take that number all the way to 0%. Because if you don't buy the insurance you need, all the insurance money you're spending really is wasted. So what I would first say is, using little sliders, your problem is going to be that unless you're very, very familiar with insurance, you may not really know whether you're cutting fat when you reduce coverage or whether you're actually cutting into the muscle. And of course, I would always advise finding a local insurance pro, somebody that has some interest in you and some interest in our community, that can give you some knowledgeable advice. And you can tell them that you have a specific budget in mind, and you can decide what coverages are more important and what are less. Personally, I have to tell you, I'm a fan of buying lots and lots of liability coverage because I like to have that kind of protection, and I don't want a plaintiff's attorney owning something that I have someday. And with property coverage, I tend to buy much less. I select higher deductibles when I can, things like that. And a rule of thumb you should always follow is that if you can write a check for something, there's really no need to insure it unless the insurance is so cheap as to almost be free. So again, if it's something that you can budget for, if it's something that's a relatively known item, then there's no need to pay a guy like me to insure it for you. Insurance is meant for those things that are unanticipated and too large an expense for you to simply eat on your own. But again, as you're getting on these sort of name your own price tools and just say, look, I want $60 a month worth of insurance. Well, okay, you have $60 a month worth of insurance, but is that insurance appropriate to you? Does it cover the things that worry you? Does it address your financial concerns and the things that you might be worried about and the things that might financially impair you? The other reason that I don't really like these tools very much is because you don't have anybody looking over your shoulder and dealing with changing laws. Every time the legislature meets, they could change insurance law. And every time the Department of Financial Services, which regulates insurance in the state of Florida, every time they get together, which is certainly a lot more than once a year for a legislative session, they can change things up as well. And so you have to be very, very careful. Let's remember that probably 2/3 of the drivers in the state of Florida either have no insurance at all or have very, very minimal limits. And if one of those drivers hits you, you could be in some real trouble. And I would also suggest that you can't get into the arrogance of saying, well, it'll just never happen to me. I'll never have an accident. I'm a very careful driver. You may be the most careful driver out there, but accidents do happen. And I will tell you, if someone else is driving your vehicle, you've loaned out your insurance there as well. And maybe you're the best driver ever, but maybe your husband isn't the greatest driver. So what I would say again is use real care if you decide to use one of these tools. Now, it could be an informative tool for you. You could use these little tools online to inform your questions that, again, I hope you'll take to a professional. But don't just slide something around on a screen and think you're going to get the right kind of coverage. Beware the name your price options and buy what you need. Again, and you can stay in your budget. That's going to do it for this week. We'll be back next week, again, with 5 more minutes to show you how to be an insurance purchasing expert. Thanks.